hear this? You are not alone. This is the resistance.
What's up, everyone? Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you're watching this, you are the resistance. And yes, I know I misspelled the title. I will fix that in post. We gotta set this up in haste. We are due to have an interview with supermodel Louise Megan as part of the recap of Operation Megan. She's having some technical issues on her end. And we will jump over to that stream later on when she becomes available. But in the meantime, we just decided we're just going to go ahead and do a roundtable because we got into quite an interesting conversation in the back room. And we're like, fuck it, let's just go live and have some fun here. And as always, this is the roundtable. I am your White Rabbit Tin Man here with the Canadian John Connor.
Hola.
And now with Reverend Ordo. Welcome, Reverend.
Hey, man. Reverend over here in post-production.
Yeah. But this is the Worldwide Resistance Network's roundtable where you get to participate and be a part of the show. And today's topic, as always, Israel. Like, I kind of feel like that freaking Alex Jones meme, man. Like, we talk about it so much, and I kind of feel bad because, you know, it's not the Jewish people that are the problem. It's the criminal Zionists that have hijacked Israel, the name of Israel, in the name of Judaism, in order to engage in criminal activity, and that's really messed up. And as somebody who has Jewish ties, I can say firsthand that's just totally fucked up. And I kind of feel bad that we keep going down this rabbit hole because it's like this.
Like I've been saying for a while, you can call us a lot of names, but you haven't been able to call us liars yet. And that is freaking concerning.
Exactly, but I just kind of feel bad. It's like every time we pop on, it's like, Jew. It's like, I don't like to be that guy.
Well, I think it's because we finally understood the state of the war, right? It's unfortunate, but these are the people involved. So as we're covering it, we're going to end up talking about them a lot. Not even to be mean, right? Like, for instance, today's topic really has nothing to do at all with the religious connotations of what's going on. Like, there'll be a quick moment where I'm going to speak on it, but I'm going to do a quick abridgment for those who you guys just weren't privileged to the conversation in our little green room. Probably the most unsafe safe space on the planet is our little green room. But so in essence, we talk about the old always, but then we talk about the current, and then we talk about how the old and the current coincide with one another. And that's kind of a huge one, because what's the point of bringing up the past if it has nothing to do with today, right? So we have to make sure that we're not just being idiots and hateful. So one of the topics that's been floating around the internet lately, it's been catching some traction, and Revan was bringing it to my attention, and how we would approach it, which is quite literally that we know, not us, the Worldwide Resistance Network, we know, as in like the collective population that researches this kind of information, which y'all should be members of the resistance. It is what it is. That Netanyahu financed Hamas. Okay, now you guys can take a few minutes, you guys, the viewership, like anybody who's watching and you're trying to figure it out, just minimize my little video here on the side. If you're one of them lucky YouTube premium people there, you can do a search and still listen to my gibberish in the background. And you can look into, like, these are stories that are coming about that Israel financed Hamas. And that all by itself is a very negative, a very negative line, right? Because
Absolutely.
the United States finances Israel, Israel finances Hamas, Hamas does, and then Israel does, and everybody in the middle is dying. So that's a big, big thing that needs to be unpacked, because we can't just blindly say Israel finances Hamas and leave it there, because
We have to go down that rabbit hole. Because
yes,
what does it mean when you say, "Oh, Israel financed Hamas"? Okay, are we financing a government? Are we financing a terrorist organization? Are we financing terrorist activity? Are we shoving penguins up our ass? What are we doing?
right? So I had to look into this, and now I discovered this um, during the Syrian crisis way back then. I discovered some of these definitions. If you were to go back in our earlier videos, you're going to notice that there just all of a sudden comes a point where I get really upset with the bastardization of language, how we're just using words willy-nilly. In
Yeah.
that area of time is when I've discovered this information. Okay, we say, or people say, the governments of the world will tell you. Okay, first of all, I'm not a fucking terrorist sympathizer. Okay, just because I'm explaining to you how this works doesn't mean that I'm okay with anybody hurting anybody for any religion, any god, and just disclaimers. Insert here, sign there. Don't do dangerous, stupid shit just because you thought you understood something. But here's how it goes. Okay, because this is the kind of information that upsets people, guys. This is the kind of information that, like, they shoot people over. Okay, like, how did Israel finance Hamas? Because when the story is broken on how, well, then the narrative of Palestine never being a country and never existing and only farmers, and not that it makes it any better that they were just farmers. No. But there is a narrative that exists. Palestine was not a place. It's not a country. It's not a this. It's not a that. That narrative in its entirety is false. And this is why. Because if that narrative was true, you would not have a nation or a nation's politics to interfere with if that was true. So how did they finance Hamas? That's the question, right? There was a time, not today, obviously, because look at the desolate country that is there. But the drone footage of the rubble is going to be very useful to help illustrate my point as you're researching. That rubble used to be something. It used to be people. It used to be wildlife. It used to be vibrant. Okay? That rubble.
Buildings, infrastructure, a Disneyland.
Right. It was something. It was something. So that rubble is important to view in scope of its entirety, and at some point your heart's going to break and your gut's going to retch, because you're going to be like, will the destruction and desolation not end? And unfortunately the answer to that is, from the looks of things, no. But now we realized that this is something, and this thing was governed by people, and at the time it was Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, Republican Democrats. Okay, Hamas, Palestinian Authority. Before we start getting into the nonsense of what took place, I'm going to do a very, very infantile explanation, okay? On this side, the Palestinian Authority, these are your paper guys. These are your, I'm going to bring you to court in the international courts. I'm going to make anything that involves pushing paper, the Palestinian bureaucracy, what was required to be recognized by the United Nations and so on. That's what these guys were good at.
Don't mind me. I'm literally eating breakfast right now.
No worries.
My day kind of got up.
These guys here, they believe all of this, but they're a little bit more on the extreme side, a little bit more on the religious aspect of things, where this side is more of like the paperwork side of things. Both sides are required to maintain a good functioning government, which is what's important. These two were the right and left of the bird, okay? that the Palestinian people had the right to choose from. That meaning nobody going to no Palestine bringing no democracy, because they had to be. And how do I know that they had a democracy, a strong, vibrant, acting democracy?
Because they voted.
Because they voted. And you know when you know when a democracy is actually like strong and doing its thing? When people are rigging it. That's when you know that the democratic process is in full swing and that people involved in it fully know what's going on and they're actually using their vote properly, to the point to where the bad guy's like, dude, if we don't rig this election, we're not going to get what we want. So we're going to have to rig it. If you're rigging it, then that means that there is a democratic process that you're interfering with that belongs to a nation. But this is supposed to be some shit that they didn't exist, right? The Palestine don't exist, right? So
Right.
During the Palestinian times, there was a nation. It had a government. And these guys were the representatives. What did Israel do? Israel knew full well that if the paper guys, if they won the election, this would be a very, very hard opponent to hit. This guy here, this one, the paper guy, he's not shooting missiles willy-nilly. He's going to use a little bit more brain. He's going to use a little bit more effort. And he's going to expose, and he's going to tarnish you, and he's going to make sure the world knows what's going on. This person is very dangerous to Israel. Less dangerous than these guys. Religious extremism, violence, defending of people through violent means, they know how to handle this. Don't know how to handle this. This is nonviolent compliance. This is violent revolution. Okay? Both of them you could be voting for. So this is what happened. The Palestinian people, they had an election. And Benjamin Netanyahu rigged it so that Hamas would win. Hamas is a democratically elected political body of the Palestinian nation. That's what Hamas is. Hamas is not a terrorist organization any more than the Republican or the Democrat is inside of the great nation of the United States. Now let's pretend, for the sake of argument here, because it helps people put their brains into the right spot. The Americans have an election, and we're going to say that the Democrats won the election, and then all of a sudden Russia sends 96,000 fucking warheads, right? And like 82% of the United States homeland is destroyed, right? The remaining individuals, the remaining living people of the United States, that governing body, until the survivors had an election and so on and so forth, the governing body of the United States would be called the Democratic Party of the United States. No different than Hamas of Palestine. Hamas, although rigged by Israel, so they got the guy they wanted in power, Hamas was democratically elected in Palestine. And after that happened, the Palestinian Authority fizzled away, and then Israel started destroying Palestine. Then it started bombing the living snot out of it. You know, that was rubble I was telling you about. That was people. You could find the videos. It goes as far as the eye can see. It's very disconcerting. And the remaining people that survived this attack, the governing body of the rubble would still be the democratically elected Hamas. This is why when Canada said, we're going to get on board with recognizing you in the United Nations, as long as Hamas is not the governing body of Palestine. If I'm Hamas, you got to remember, I was democratically elected, which means I have an understanding of the democratic process. Another democratic nation has said, I'm going to guarantee you your physical safety. We're going to give you a spot in the United Nations. We're going to make sure that you're safe. But in order for me to sell this to the world, bro, you can't be in charge. You know this, right? You got rebrand. The biggest leaders of you guys, your generals, retire. Don't worry. We're going to send your country some money and you guys are going to live well. And the fight is over for you. Okay. So just retire and take a grouping of your populace create the narrative, the ideas, the political process, have the open debate, have the election, create a new leader, and we're going to back you. Now, there's a lot of room here for somebody to install a puppet and have some fun and da-da-da-da-da. But what Canada is saying,
Hey, Saddam, you ready to come out of retirement?
right? Like, so what they got to do now is just let this happen, because if Hamas follows through with all of the peace plan, which is the best thing they could do right now, is follow through with the peace plan that Trump put forward. I know it sounds stupid, but if they follow through with the peace plan that Trump put forward and Israel breaks the ceasefire, Trump has created a situation that is so black and white. He purposely created a situation where there will be no room left to decide who's the bad guy.
Yep.
That's what he did. And it's just going to take time, because you have to set the trap, you see. You got to create it, and then you got to create the peace, and then you got to let the bad guy destroy the peace. And when the bad guy destroys the peace, we can wave our finger at them. See, they tried to do this already. 1 year ago. 1 year ago, they tried to do this already. See, the narrative, now that we understand Hamas a little bit better, the narrative is simple. On October 7th, Hamas started the war. That's what everybody knows. That's what everybody preaches. That's what everybody says. But that's not true. Even Hamas came out and said, what do you mean start? And anybody who understands the conflict knows it's been going on for 75 years or more.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've been talking about this since what, 2014?
Yeah. So it's not just starting the war, right? Now the youngsters, this is the problem, right? The youngsters, they're coming up, right? The 18, 19, 20, 25-year-olds. And in their brain, all this started on October 7th, right? Because they haven't done the research yet.
Yeah, they weren't alive.
Exactly.
9/11. They weren't alive when the USS Liberty was bombed. Many of them were probably little kids when this conflict between Israel and Palestine really started taking center stage in the media.
Yeah. I remember when I started as John Connor, I was like all about against the elites, and you know what I mean? But like, no way, shape, or form are you going to turn me into a Nazi or an anti-Semite just because I don't like the government. That was my fucking stance. Yeah. I was not pro-Israel. I was just not anti-Israel. When I started, I had said that I will never, ever purposefully go against the nation state of Israel because Hitler had done enough. That was where my brain was when I started all of this. That's how deep these rabbit holes go. And that's why, like, sometimes you just got to be like, yo, we already fought that war and we lost. Like, so either we're going to refight it again or just deal with the fact that we lost. So now moving forward into the October 7th, this is why it's important here. Just very much like 9/11, no one talks about what Rumsfeld was talking about on 9/10. On October 7th, very few people talk about what happened just a few days and just a few weeks prior. Now, there was a long time ago, right around the Syrian crisis area, where Benjamin Netanyahu met with some very prominent rabbis. You guys can find the videos, they're out there. And he said, the Messiah hasn't arrived yet. And he gives them an envelope filled with cash. And he says, do something that hastens the Messiah's arrival. It wouldn't be too long after that the sarin gas attacks happened in Syria. I'm just going to milk my coffee. Now moving forward, knowing now that Benjamin Netanyahu takes his orders from the religious extremists of his nation by accepting the money and doing things that will hasten the arrival of the Messiah, there's also these videos of Benjamin Netanyahu stating that that he controls the United States, where they look, what they do. That Netanyahu has literally stated in a family home setting with his friends and family that he controls the United States regardless of which president is in office. Is that the United States is a weak body of people. Okay, so I got all kinds of these little tidbits of what the leader of Israel will do and say in regards to the United States, which upsets me. The United States and my buddies, man, they're just down the street, dude. Like, these are good fucking people. So what did they do? They went in, and you can find it's a little bit more obscure, and I wish I would have paid more attention when it was happening. But days, if not weeks, before October 2nd, Israel had done some operations inside of Gaza, inside of the West Bank, operations that angered the Palestinian people. What's important to realize is that during, I think it was the American Civil War, there was a time when they said that so and so will not start a war with us, not unless we do this. And then the president ordered his generals to do the exact thing that was said, that if this happened, we will go to war. So I said, don't cross the line, or else I'm going to war. And you purposely crossed the line to purposely start a war. So whatever the Israelis did to the Palestinians, they retaliated. Remember, I don't like the bastardization of language. Don't fucking lie to me. Israelis had done something to the Palestinians because before October 7th, there was a ceasefire. For lack of a better explanation, we had been living in some sort of a peace. May not be a peace that would be in the Middle East and so on and so forth forever, but they were working on some shit. And then out of the blue, out of good God nowhere, there's an attack on concert goers, and now hostages are taken. And then you got Hamas saying that it's not an attack, it's a retaliation. Well, that's very important. That's ridiculous. That's right up there with like the Zionists declaring war on Hitler's Germany. That's remarkably important to listen to what people say, because if they were coming out with an attack, they would have said, now that we have your hostages, and there will be more attacks to come unless you meet our demands. And that's not what they said. They said that they retaliated and that they took hostages to make sure that the IDF would withdraw its military forces from certain areas of Palestine. They said sure that it was military in nature. So understanding purely that it didn't start on October 7th and that October 7th was a retaliation, we have to ask ourselves, a retaliation to what? And does it really matter? Because what they've done now is probably worse than what they did before this started. So we could just focus on what they're doing now and have a better shot at it, right? Kind of like where I was going to with, and this is where it was coming in with the whole like genocide, nations complicities, and things like this. I fear, I don't even want to fucking say it.
That was part of the plan. They wanted us to. They wanted them to be complicit. Okay, well, I was mentioning this with a Tinman here a couple weeks ago, that you see that Netanyahu, he's half Polish, half Jewish. Hitler was half Jewish, half Austrian. Hitler was a National Socialist. Mussolini was fascist. Okay?
Yeah.
What's Netanyahu? He's now the new Hitler. And who's the new Mussolini? Trump is.
Effectively, yeah.
A capitalist Mussolini.
Connor's like, I gotta get hot for this one.
No, because what I'm about to say is going to break the internet, and it bothers me a lot. Can't even.
And the thing is, you know, I've been like really wanting to look into this deal that Trump, this list of things that Trump wants to put on the table, where if Israel and Hamas do their peace bullshit, which we all know it is bullshit, like 30 years ago, right? Israel and Palestine had a peace treaty, right? What happened? The Prime Minister of Israel was assassinated, and guess who was part of that? Netanyahu was.
Yeah.
Now, here we got this thing where...
Yeah, it's not so much Israel's the problem, it's Netanyahu's the problem.
Yeah. There's a few things, just a few things that Trump has a list, and one of them was that Gaza remains independent in the hands of an independent party.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
my thing is that if it happens, it will blow up in someone's face, because the thing is, we all know that Netanyahu funds Hamas and maybe a co-founder of Hamas. He ain't gonna let it go.
Yeah.
He's gonna give a hold on Hamas on Gaza. Why? The guy is a nut job. He's a nut job.
It's crazier than I am.
The thing is, look, okay, what's one thing he did weeks ago? He threatened China, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was genius.
Because he thinks China has Hamas dissidents, and then Trump said to Afghanistan, "Hey, we're going to take back the air base." Afghanistan said, "Fuck you," and we all know why. So Israel can land their planes on that very same base, and for what? To bomb China. Well, guess what? Who's their ally in BRICS? Russia, motherfucker.
Right?
You don't want 2 million people on your fucking doorstep, you half Polish prick.
Oh, it's fucked. And it's like, and the reason why it's important to understand all of this information, all of this is what people don't like. Because just like every good conspiracy, everything ties in ever so nicely as long as you know which way to go. This all ties into Charlie Kirk. This eventually comes to current time. Okay? Because Candace has been just opening up on people. And it's been coming out.
Yeah, I'd say more than opening up, man. She's been going scorched earth on motherfuckers.
And she has to. She has no choice, because if she doesn't, dude, they're gonna hurt this woman. Make no mistake about it.
Can we play the clip of what she said
You can if you want.
to give people context? Okay, I am
Yes.
going to pull this clip up because this is big. This is big. I'm gonna have to scroll back a little bit because we share a lot of bullshit with each other all fucking night and day. But
Oh yeah.
apparently Candace got her hands on some private text conversations, and she dropped some names. And this is gonna get interesting, guys.
Well,
So listen up. I hope this comes through clearly, because I'm just gonna play the audio here.
Money. Those same donors might be running you.
Comrades of the Whiskered Nation, for too long mice have gnawed at our pantry, stolen our crumbs, spread their filth through our alleys.
Is this the right file?
Shadow living off the labor of honest nation. Comrades of the Whiskered Nation, for too long mice have...
No, this isn't the right file.
no, it's one of the joke files.
Yeah, that's one of the joke files. Okay,
We gotta
where's...
clear it up.
And Trump got on stage and was like, actually, the entire world
Is this the right file?
Nothing is real. Your freedoms aren't real. You've been enslaved by lies. There's a global government that's running everything. We control the media. We control the textbooks.
No, that's another thing.
Money. Those same donors might be running you.
You'd be looking for the one that was released like last night or today, which is a picture. It's not an audio file. It's a picture.
No, it was an audio file. I know I sent it.
I'm gonna go look for it now.
Here's the receipts. Yeah. Because she went scorched earth. And she dropped the fucking files. I think maybe I sent it to myself to save for later. But she went scorched earth and dropped a conversation. I cannot find it. I could have sworn I shared it, but if anybody's who's watching this goes and looks it up, it's a recent publication by Candace Owens.
Check the group chat.
You sent it? You found it?
I found one of them. I don't know what it is, but
Okay. You said something of interest.
Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I'm now going to.
This is it.
Done with Israel bullying him, and I'm now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie, Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now.
I got here.
I might actually release a name every day. I might actually.
What, Reverend?
Oh yeah, we eat the rice with raisin.
I found it here.
Eat Taiwanese sausage.
What happened, Reverend?
I found it.
Yeah, we're playing it.
Oh, okay. Oh shit. Sorry,
Here, why don't you play, Reverend? I just got a freaking Asian video popping up. It's like, oh, we eat in Thailand, we eat rice and raisin.
Jewish donor, 2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. And I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
People are saying you married your brother for citizenship purposes, but are you in love with your brother, Congresswoman? I mean,
Okay, I think you went scorched earth somewhere else.
is this
It's like, are you in love with your brother? Like, what?
that's like a perfect roundtable, like fucking segue. That's exactly how we are too. Like we'll just bash somebody and then just really move. Like, hey, look, money. So, in essence, here, that's and why
Your
is that?
video's off, Connor.
What?
Your video is off.
It would actually matter
The
if
video.
Charlie never said he was going to, decided one day to become Catholic. It would have financial implications. I want to be clear, I never had a conversation that Charlie was in the process of converting, okay? But Rob in particular knew for an absolute fact that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him. That's what bothers me so much about this man. Him allowing these headlines, Charlie's pastor speaks out, crushes Candace because of what she said, not whatever. I don't like it. He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, 2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh.
How about now?
Okay, at which point everything's full circle.
Yeah.
Again, Connor, your video is still out, my friend. I don't know what you did. You broke yourself. You'll be back.
Okay.
But yeah. What do you got?
Charlie.
God dang it. I have it here. I mean, like shit. Man.
I fucking love Candace, man. She's going fucking scorched earth on this. Like, she will not back down off this.
Yeah.
Lines. Charlie's pastor speaks out, crushes Candace because of what she said, not whatever. I don't like it. He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week.
Okay, yeah, we're just repeating ourselves now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so in hindsight, she's exposing that he's losing a lot of he lost a lot of donors because he's not been pro-Israel enough. And
That he's abandoning the pro-Israel.
In this chat, she exposed he was going to bring on Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and his buddies are telling him, no, don't do that. It's a bad idea. It's bad for business, blah, blah, blah. Just go back in the back room, smoke a cigar, and, play with your wiener, whatever. But don't bring Candace on. Whatever you do, don't bring Candace on.
No, because she's got the checks and balances. Like she's a lot like us, where you can ask us a question and we can give you the real good ballpark answer. Like we'll be like, okay, it's in this direction. Like you're gonna have to look this up because I could be wrong. She can do that, and she can do that better than even me. Like she's that good, right? So and this is why Charlie liked her. She had the ability to hold her own in a debate. Do you know how much research you have to be capable of pulling off to be as good of a debate artist as people like Candace Owen and people like Charlie Kirk? These are the best of the best. You know what I mean? So these aren't unintelligent individuals that are looking into unpopular subjects. This is the most popular subject in American history right now, and it's a very intelligent person running the research program. And the fun part is she's doing that shit pretty much all by herself as far as the spearhead, and she's not by herself.
Well, she's pretty much been doing it by herself recently since she got dropped from the platform she was on. She's been doing like we do and just kind of operating out of her house.
Well, it's part of a very simple plan that I don't even think they might not plan it this way, but me outside looking in, and I would say, oh, this is planned. This is why I believe it would be planned. She's just the next domino. There will be no large fanfare in regards to Candace Owens. Because
you're thinking they're going to unalive Candace Owens?
Yes. And then I think that her camp already knows this, and that her camp has the next person getting ready to pick up the bloody mic and run. Which I think we're not inside the first cycle of this. I think we're actually inside of the second cycle, whereas Kirk was the first cycle and Candace is the one that grabs the bloody mic and run. And then when she drops, someone else picks up the bloody mic and runs. And then when they drop, there will be no large fanfare, and the individuals responsible for this will not be connected to each other in any very specific way, aside from, we know why you killed Charlie, and if you hurt Candace, we'll know why you hurt Candace too. And I don't care if it has to be me or the next person. I will follow their information, or they will follow my information. But there will be somebody else
who's going to expose it. And I think that's where I think you're onto something here. But maybe tweak it and go a little bit more in that further down that direction than you were initially going. What if it wasn't Candace Owens that took the bloody mic? What if it was Charlie Kirk's wife that took the mic, and Candace is pissed off, that her friend died, and is exposing the situation, and they now got Kirk out of the way with his what many people are saying is his Israeli puppet wife, get Candace out of the way, like what you're saying. They get rid of Candace, and somebody on her side who's a puppet, who's an Israeli puppet, picks up that mic. They get rid of Jones since he's taking up for Charlie Kirk and fixing to do these school debates and whatnot. And then the Onion is actually fixing to come in today and take over InfoWars.
Ties to the organization of Turning Point USA because
didn't
about money too.
Yeah, well, what was it last roundtable we talked about this? Didn't the Onion and Bloomberg say recently that they now can misrepresent Charlie Kirk, and today they're coming in to take over InfoWars, and in order to, as they openly declared, misrepresent Jones?
The idea of taking over InfoWars may blow up in their face because the thing is, this thing happened to Project Veritas when they fired the founder of Project Veritas because it's about money.
Yeah. Well, it's always about money. It always comes back to money.
Investors trusted him.
Yeah. But here's what I'm alluding to. They want to control the flow. Israel wants to control the flow of information. That's why they want to buy up TikTok and buy up
information.
And you see companies like Bloomberg and the Onion trying to buy up InfoWars and that fake auction shit because they want to misrepresent Jones. And now Charlie Kirk's dead, and his wife, who everybody is saying is an Israeli puppet, is an Israeli yes man or yes woman. You got rid of Charlie Kirk.
Honeypot.
Yeah. Jones, InfoWars is pretty much in the hand. You might as well just say InfoWars is in the hands of the Onion at this point. But Jones, he's still going to be doing his own thing, with the Alex Jones Network. But if he gets Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens gets Charlie Kirk, there goes your main base for Truth and Information, because these were the three most prominent people who were the biggest detractors of Israel and truth speakers. You silence them, you get the puppets in, and then you got all the fucking social media influencers that are allegedly getting paid. I think I read it last night that social media influencers are getting paid, I think, $7,000 per share of the Israeli story.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin Netanyahu declared social media the new weapon.
Yeah, but apparently Israel's paying people $7,000 per post. Fuck, where the fuck am I? Why am I not getting this email? Why am I not getting this fucking email for sure, man? I want $7,000 per post.
Right, man.
I'll sit there and I'll sit on a fucking. I'll sit there with a Jewish cock in my mouth, like dreidel. I shoved it up my butt.
Right, and this is probably why you didn't get the memo.
That's probably why I didn't get the memo. It's like, seriously, Ted DiBiase said it best. Everybody's got a price, man. You want to shut me up? Let me win the fucking Powerball lottery jackpot.
Well,
I'll shut up. I'll go sit on a fucking beach in Maui.
I don't think InfoWars will go anywhere, because the thing is, if Jacob Keefe would take back Project Veritas, InfoWars is going to stay.
Yeah.
So InfoWars, look at it like this, and you're going to find out why Alex is just laughing. Just change the word. InfoWars, just call it Infobomb. Right? Right. So the InfoWars is the area where you could find the most amount of information back then. Everything. right?
Mhm.
So if we view Infowars.com, the content, the experience, the everything that we had in those moments, and we view it as the info bomb, the Onion purchasing Infowars and trying to destabilize and do it. It's the same equivalent value to, okay, we're going to drop a Moab, and as soon as it explodes and all the damage is done, we're going to send some people in to pick up a few of the pieces of the bomb and say that we control the bomb. The damage is
Yeah.
done. Everything that Jones had to do, he did back then. It was quite legitimately our generation that he was reaching out to. He was trying to make sure that there was somebody else that understood the information that he was finding. He wanted to have conversations about it. It grew. He had fanfare and fandom. He managed to protect himself legally through the guise of satire and character building, which is exactly how I would have played that if I had to. I would play crazy real fucking quick if I absolutely had to. You wouldn't have a choice. So I can understand all of what he did, right? And then now, after the tumultuous aspect of his life and that particular aspect, he's carved out a section, AlexJones.com, I believe it is, for himself, the Alex Jones Network. He's got this thing. He's now working on this with all the information today that he didn't have when he started InfoWars, right? So now it's like we collectively just have to let InfoWars die and shake Alex's hand and be like, yo, okay, boss, what are we doing next? What's the next step, man? Like, you had all the ideas to get InfoWars going. You had all the access to all the information. We have a general idea which direction we're looking at now. So, like, who do we bump up against? Who do we, right? And it's like, oh, dude, it's like we can't get violent, but it's like you got to find the spot that's going to really affect them the most. And the only way to do that is to remind people that in the great country of the United States and in the great country of Canada, there's an election every day, and you're always casting your ballot, and you never really understand it until we explain it. And that's okay. But every day that you purchase something, you're voting with your dollar. Boycotts still have power, except in the great country of the United States. The reason why I say that this comes down to Kirk as well, and the USS Liberty and the destroying of that ship as a CIA op, proving that Israel was committing war crimes by hurting the Egyptian POWs, then moving forward to 9/11 and making the Americans go after them, and then moving forward to Charlie Kirk. But why, Mark? Why Charlie Kirk, bro? Because he refused $150 million and he was abandoning the pro-Israeli narrative. He had written an extremely strongly worded letter to Benjamin Netanyahu calling him out on the lie of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Charlie knew what was up. And I can even tell you, or at least in my best bet, my best guess, I'm going to tell you when I believe it happened. Okay? Charlie was very public with his debates. And I wish I could go, boom, here you go. But you guys are going to hear, it's going to scroll through your feeds. You know why it's going to scroll through your feeds? Because your phone is registering the words that I'm saying, right? You know, you say something too many times into your phone, all of a sudden, next thing you know, it starts showing you shit. Yeah, well, my voice is speaking, your phone is hearing. So let's get it to fucking show you some shit. But Charlie Kirk had a debate with an individual who was explaining to him that he didn't understand why he was pro-Israeli. And this guy comes from Iran. And he said, oh, so you must be said denomination of Islam. He's like, bro, I'm a Christian. So this was a Christian Iranian who was explaining to Charlie Kirk that the Christian faith inside of the Muslim world was protected and that the Christian faith inside of Israel was legitimately spit on, like very physically. And you can see Charlie Kirk's face turn in disgust when he discovers that there's an area of the world where Christianity is spit on. And that when he comes to the realization that it's inside of Israel and not inside the Muslim nations, you can physically see the cognitive dissonance strike that man between the eyes. If you find that video, because he leans
I
back
have seen it.
and
I
leans
have
back
seen it.
to
It's
his guy,
not hard to find. Anybody who's watching this can search it.
he's leaning back to his guy and he's like, for real. You can see something, he says something and like he starts nodding with his guy and like then the debate ends after that.
Yeah.
And again, it wouldn't be long after that he starts running audits on TPUSA. He wants to know where his money's coming from, who's donating, when he loses the funding, where did it come from to begin with? Why is he losing the funding? Right? They lost $2 million because he refused to cancel Tucker. He sacrificed $2 million because he refused to cancel Tucker Carlson. Then he outright
turned around and wanted to bring Candace Owens on.
And then because of all of this, he was preparing to abandon the pro-Israeli stance. He was getting ready to bring Candace Owens back in. And we have the evidence. It's there, dude. It's there. And I always knew it was there. And this is the hardest part. When all this started, I said in the very beginning, if it's Erica Kirk that takes over, we have to pay extremely close attention to what she's doing and what her motivations are, because the whisper on the lines out there is that there's only one way Candace Owens has the receipts. Only one way. And I'm going to tell you,
somebody has to have them.
It's the exact same way that anybody would have the receipts on our organization. You need one of our phones. You need us. You need the thing that we interacted. You need my little T800 here. See this guy here? This guy's been with me for a long time. He's heard everything I've ever said, recorded everything I've ever seen, so on and so forth. In order to have the kind of information that Candace Owen has, she needs to have in her possession R2D2, you see.
Yes.
And I believe that she has that fucking Android. I think that no matter how nicely Mademoiselle Erica Kirk is playing with the Israelis, because make no mistake, they just fucking unalived the dude, man.
Yeah.
Right? They don't got to her. She knows. Do you know when you threaten people? You threaten people when they are unaware of the consequences of their actions. And you should stop that, because I'm going to slap you in the fucking teeth. I'm going to stop. Okay, you threaten them because they are unaware of the consequences. Yeah. She is 100% aware of the consequences.
She just does not give a fuck, man. If she's got the R2D2, man, she is definitely the Princess Leia of this situation. She's got the fucking Death Star plans to Erica Kirk's whole organization now. And I think she about to freaking fire that torpedo.
I think Erica gave her Charlie Kirk's phone.
You think she did?
I think his wife gave Candace Charlie's phone, and she's got to play nice for the security of herself and the children. And Mademoiselle Kirk, that's okay. You take the money and run. We understand. Don't for any second think that we don't. You go raise those kids. You take that $150 million. You say nice thing about Israel. You do what you have to do, baby girl. You do it. Nobody's worried about that.
Yeah.
But I believe that Charlie Kirk's wife was in disgust with what took place with her husband. She knew where his heart and head was at. She knows more than what I know now. There would have been some simple conversations. There'd be some arguments over this shit. There would be some moral, religious, heartfelt conflict inside of this predominantly Christian household. Holy fuck, make no mistake about it. Right? And now
you sit there and go, Israel. It's like the Israeli government is the bad guy here. I mean, that's a hard pill for most Christians to swallow. Even in the Latter-day Saint community, I mean, for the most part, I mean, a lot of the Latter-day Saints that I've met in my lifetime, they seem to be kind of where a lot of them seem to be where we're at. But just as many seem to be, kind of still in that sleepy haze. And, Israel is the promised land and, bless Israel and all that, which is fine. Me personally, I look at it this way. I really don't give a shit if Israel exists. If they want to exist, that's fine. If they want to take control, if the Zionists want to take control of that land without God's consent, that's between them and God. I really don't have a horse in that race. I don't have a horse in the conflict that's between them and Palestine, so long as they keep it between themselves. If they want to have some infighting, that's fine. Leave me the fuck out of it and leave my fucking bank account the fuck out of it. My tax dollars don't need to go to your stupid fucking war games. You want to fucking sit there and say you're the master race and you're better than everybody else on the planet and that the Jews are God's chosen people and everybody else is shit? I don't care. Think whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't necessarily make it true. Doesn't necessarily make it false. Think whatever the hell you want. You're entitled to your opinion. Well, you go do it over there. Okay, this is my sandbox. Go and play in your fucking sandbox. Don't come and shit in my fucking sandbox.
But
you just shit in your own fucking sandbox.
Just simplify the problems of the whole fucking planet in one sentence. Yeah, you're allowed to be a dumbass. No, it's okay. I love you. Just go do it over there. Oh,
yeah.
you broke.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, this is my sandbox. Say, you have your sandbox. I have my sandbox. Go play in your sandbox. Don't come over here and shit in my fucking sandbox. That's all I'm asking. Don't shit in my sandbox.
But God said that I was allowed to take the sand out of your sandbox to make my castle bigger.
Don't
like, no. He promised
forget.
you the land of Israel. And we can debate Old Testament, New Testament. Jesus is God. Jesus is burning in hell and excrement. We can have that argument all day long. I don't care what you fucking believe. Israel is your fucking sandbox. We have that from the Abrahamic covenant. Israel's your sandbox. You get this sandbox. We got this sandbox. Don't shit in my fucking sandbox.
Let's not forget that the new leader of Syria is not Syrian. He's a puppet for Israel.
Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing in Ukraine as well.
Yeah.
It's happening. Yeah.
Are there a lot of Ukrainian territories that are no-go zones that are strictly Jewish no-go zones?
It's begun there, yeah. They're settlements. They're Israeli settlements. I don't even call them Jewish. They're not fucking Jewish. They're Israeli. They're Israeli settlements. I refuse to call them Jewish.
For anybody in the States who might be confused on the dynamic of what that is, if you're from the West Coast areas of the Western United States, you got a lot of Native American tribes who got forced out west, and they have their own reservations in their own land that operate independently. They're within the United States, but operate independently under their own governance. Their own little Indian reservations. That's essentially what's happening, but with the Jewish community in Ukraine and other areas.
Yep.
They pretty much have their own reservations.
So I'm gonna share this last little bit because this is why I think it's all going to fucking hell in a handbasket, and then I have to peace out. But I fear I had to make sure that I was adequately medicated here. So what I feared, what I didn't want to speak of earlier was that I fear for the legitimacy of the opinion of the American citizenship. So right now, as it stands, the United States people, those who do not agree with the war or don't agree with X, Y, or Z, they go on the internet and things like that, and they create a narrative of what's going on. So, and then they say, okay, well, I disagree with it. And then people will take the time to research the narrative and understand the story and then understand the viewpoint, so on and so forth, because the person who put it out there to be examined is an American citizen, and the United States and their citizens have legitimacy. Okay, so you understand like that context. Okay, well, my fear here is that now that Palestine has been recognized in the United Nations by a bunch of the nations, and the only ones that really aren't recognizing it is the United States and Palestine. So I think what's going to happen here is the international community, there'll be global pressure applied where it won't matter where the American citizen is on the internet, whether it's Facebook or in a game, multiplayer game chat or whatever. I think that the anti-American sentiment will grow in order to apply pressure to the American population, so that the American population applies pressure to the government, so that the government gets the heck out of Dodge. But because what Israel is doing to the Palestinians is a genocide, and that's come out to light, it makes the United States complicit with a genocide, which could inadvertently remove the legitimacy of its citizens as a whole on the international stage. That's a lot of fancy words for saying your opinion is just not going to matter anymore. And they're going to start to pick on you. But like in some very gross and disgusting ways. You might have seen these ways before. It's kind of how they treat the Muslims and treat the Russians and treat the Iranians. And this sword, this savage sword of words, is going to be unleashed onto the American people because they're complicit with a genocide. And I think that once that comes full circle there, and it turns into the American people applying pressure onto the government, and the government applying pressure onto Israel to put a stop to this, I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and you guys are going to understand why I'm worried. Why did we drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? What's the answer to that? Why did we do it? The legitimate answer, not the fancy, fluffed up stuff. Why did we do it? It'll save thousands of lives and shorten the war by 5 years. Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not lying, right?
Yeah.
We're there. Trump is already saying things like, I don't want you to return to Palestine because there's nothing to go back to. Right? So like even the American president is like, I don't even know why they would want to come back to this shithole. It's a fucking shithole. Have you seen what we've done to the place? Okay. This has been happening.
They could technically rebuild.
I see like this. It's their choice. If they want to go back and rebuild, let them go back and rebuild, because you know what? We're no better than anyone. I mean, yeah, we've went through a civil war. We've just destroyed our own structures and shit, and we rebuild.
But that's
kind of shit, they rebuild. Now the thing is, I'm on the side of the living. Okay, yeah. Always will. I want to see people stop dying. I am
naturally.
I live it. One of the first things they went after was the TV stations, the radio stations in Palestine. They went after that. Why? Control information. Now, what else did they destroy? Schools, hospitals, right? Homes.
All the infrastructure.
Every structure. Like, dude. Look, Palestinians and the Jews have been coexisting for thousands and thousands of years before the state of Israel came around.
Yeah.
Let them live in peace, man.
Well, that's why Trump's trying to send them in. That's why Trump's sending the military to the West Bank. That's why that's happening.
I'm on the side of peace.
Well, I'm on that side too. I just don't think it's coming.
But the one thing I got a problem with is the asshole who's the modern day Hitler that is so arrogant, ignoramus, all bullshit, you know.
Yeah. I don't think he can handle the.
But check this out. Burkina Faso Okay, that region kicked out all of France, even the military, even the representatives. A guy who's 35 years old kicked out all of France's bullshit and hooked up with 4, 5 other leaders of the sectors they're in. And why? Because they want to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. And why? Why? Because they don't want any outside controlling their resource, like gold, their oil.
Yep.
Why?
The BRICS nations.
Because they want to bring, they want to lift all of Africa to be on the same economic playing field.
That's
Now,
right.
Yeah.
But that's what I was getting at here before the ending was that the reason why all of this is important is I'll just bluntly say is I think Israel's going to nuke it. I think Israel is going to nuke what's left of Palestine. The reason why Donald Trump is in a rush to get American boots in the ground in the West Bank is so that Israel cannot nuke it without
looking like a bad guy.
without hurting American soldiers. You can look like see this, and this is why I believe two things. I believe that Israel can handle a real solid smear campaign used against it right now. I think if I was the propaganda artist myself with some of the world's best, we could hit Israel, but it wouldn't really do a whole lot. And I think that if someone like myself and others like me did this in a continuous basis over the next 15 to 20 years, I don't think that Israel would hold up. I think Israel would have to cave. I think the world would become too knowledgeable of the information, whereas the entirety of the international population would just absolutely dislike Israel. I don't think Israel would handle a long-term propaganda war. Now, knowing that, but do I believe that Israel can handle one more big hit, as somebody could paint them black through and through, and that they would still survive as a nation? I think they can. And it's because of that I believe that they're going to elect to use a nuclear weapon on the Palestinian people so that the whole world will give that one more bad media hit, but it'll be over. Because I don't think
Makes sense.
do you think that now mention this? If Gaza does become independent,
mm-hmm.
do you think that we would take, well, basically, if the only way it could be independent, that if we stepped in and make sure that it stayed independent?
Well, this is why you feel that
but also kind of letting it know that hey, the people of Gaza and the West Bank, they're tired of your shit, dude.
Well, I'll tell you how I think it's going to happen, and I think also that how I think it's going to happen
temporarily.
Well, my solution would become a permanent one, and this is why Israel doesn't want us in. Okay, because check this out, and this is also why I think they're going to nuke it. Okay, because you have to nuke it in order to remove the possibility of implementing a solution that I'm going to say. But if you look at the map, right, it's called
they can't reoccupy the zone. It's done and over with.
So you got like the Gaza Strip, right, and it's like this super tiny little thing. Okay, it's like a little rectangle, and it's hot, and it's got a little bit of water, and then Israel controls the rest, right? And then you got like the West Bank right here, okay, and then like in the center right here, that's Israeli controlled. Okay, so what's happening is down here on the bottom. This is the West Bank area. We're going to call it. This is where Trump is going to put some troops. Okay, this is where like we're going to start enforcing peace from here, and then we got the Gaza Strip up here, both of which are part of Palestine. And if Gaza becomes independent and the United States is inside of the West Bank, and if these two decide to cooperate in an amicable fashion, if these two just say, hey, yo, I got water, right, and you got food, and like let's meet in the middle, and like let's have a party, right, and everything goes good. The problem is that in the middle is controlled by Israel. But because the United States would be in the West Bank, if the United States soldiers here in the West Bank decide that they're going to carve two little pathways and they're taking the centerpiece out and we're going to connect the Gaza Strip to the West Bank, and we're going to have like this little belt style thing that runs across the nation state of Israel, right? You can't have that. That Israel is against that, right? Because now they're losing the land that they took. But if it's American boots in West Bank, I don't give a fuck what you like. I, the American military, am fucking taking this because they need water, they need food. These two people have the same culture. These two people say they're from the same fucking land. These two people know how to speak the language together. We're going to make sure these two people can grow together. But in order to do that in a sustainable fashion, you have to connect the two through the natural land bridge that's right there, that's just occupied the fucking right.
Yep.
So if Donald Trump puts boots on the ground in the West Bank and the West Bank says we have to save Gaza, it's going to be a whole lot like Terminator 2. I went to save John Connor. I'm ordering you to go and save my mother. All right, so let's go. We're going to go do that. So if they go into the West Bank and the people of the Palestinian people in the West Bank say thank you for protecting us, but our families and everybody, they're just over there. Can we go get them? And the American military says, yeah, I got a truck. Let's go. And the Israelis are like, no, you can't do that. This is Israeli territory. It's a whole new war. Because it's American soldiers escorting the West Bank Palestinians to the Gaza Palestinians. And this is not a situation that Israel wants to see. This is not
because then if they retaliate, they're the aggressor.
And they're aggressing against the United States of America. And then it's over. It's just that the nuclear weapon is going to hit Israel instead. And it's going to be an American-made weapon. Because the one thing Donald Trump said is simple. You either come to a peace arrangement or an immense amount of bloodshed comes next. If that ain't a threat of someone's going to get fucked, nothing is. And Donald Trump's not
the kids learn to get along or daddy's going to bust out the belt.
And who's going to get it? And what he's created with the 20-point peace plan and right? What he's done with all that is that he is very pro-Israel, which it has to be because he has to have the power to say, I gave you the upper hand and you screwed me again. He has to have the power. If he doesn't give Israel all of these things, he doesn't have evidence of giving Israel all of these things.
Basically, to put it in layman's terms, we don't know who took the marshmallows. So I'm going to put a marshmallow on the table, turn my back, but there's really a camera watching you, and whoever takes the marshmallow, I'm going to whoop their ass.
Especially if it's the one that I just gave a marshmallow to before I turn my back, the one that doesn't need a marshmallow.
Yep.
Right, and that's what's the messed up part. But see, all of this is all happening in real time. What did we lose? What happened the day Charlie Kirk died? They refused to release the Epstein files, and there's about 3 or 4 other points that are escaping my memory. But one of the other points that really engraved into my skull because it didn't sit well with me is that it is now illegal in the great country of the United States for the Pentagon to boycott Israel.
Yeah. Which the Pentagon, their definition of boycott is bomb the shit out of them.
Right, so I guess I wouldn't want like the Pentagon to boycott my ass, man, because when like Tin Man said, like when the Pentagon decides to boycott you, they're not cutting funding. That's done by the Treasury Department. They're not cutting what you know. That's done by the CIA. They're not cutting enforcement and that's done.
Plus, CIA doesn't trust Mossad.
Yeah,
nobody trusts.
That's already out. They're already on the outs there.
There's not a country in the world that trusts Mossad. Not the CIA, not my country's secret services. No secret services internationally, quote unquote, trust Mossad. And I'm not saying that they don't trust the information the Mossad is giving them. I'm saying they don't trust that the Mossad is not trying to actively infiltrate, spy, or disrupt their own investigations. in directions that people that Mossad would not have a reason to mess with.
Yeah,
Right?
like I was saying earlier, they wanted to fit in everybody else's sandbox.
Like, and I guess the biggest part of this is that pattern recognition is not racism. If I can just show you in varying different ways how same people controlling same things leading to the same outcome in repetitive concert, for lack of a better word,
Yeah,
that's not racism. I'm just trying to point out a pattern. Connecting the dots that unfortunately naturally connect all by themselves with little effort, minimum thought process. That everything that we touched on in today's video could have a 6 to 8 hour video dissecting the informational part of history that fits inside. We just use like catchy words and phrases to bring your brain to where it needs to be in history to move forward with these large bulk pieces of information. So
we can only show you the door. You're the one who has to walk through it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you to do your own research because people are saying that that's like a cop-out. It's like, okay, don't do your own research. Well, fact check me then.
Yeah,
call me a liar.
Fucking fact check me. And that's the premise of this title. It was initially asked.
They're afraid of people that do the research. They want us to fear people that know nothing.
Yeah.
Instead of one that, because look, if you fear someone that does research and knows the knowledge and has the information and shit like that, that's kind of people you want to fear, because over here you got people like thinking like, okay, I got this information, but you only got just enough tidbit, but you ain't got the full scale information. So,
and it's up to the individual to really do the research, whether they want to do the research or not. That's up to them. And eventually the truth comes out regardless. The truth is going to have its day regardless. You can hide your head in the sand because you see the lion coming, but you know what? The rest of your body's exposed, and you're still going to get eaten. That's one thing I've never understood about people. It's like, oh, we just want to bury our head in the sand and ignore it and hope it goes away. The problem ain't never going to go away. It's the same with the truth. The truth is always going to have its day, whether you like it or not.
Believe the lie. They rather believe the lie than the truth. Because why? Because the truth hurts.
Yeah.
It's like getting kicked in the nuts by a fat chick with a steel-toe boot.
Ouch. I mean, that's a hell of a vernacular, but yeah, it's fairly accurate.
It's one way to put it.
But in closing, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. This was the premise of the title that I chose, because for the longest time, Zionism, and by proxy, the Israeli government, not the Israeli people, not the nation of Israel and its people, or even the Jewish community as a whole, or even as a part, are to blame here. It's a small handful of people who are a criminal cabal using Judaism, hijacking the religion for the sake of nationalism by way of criminal activity. They are a criminal cabal, and they are using Judaism. They are using the events of World War II and anti-Semitism as a get-out-of-jail-free card to say, you can't criticize us, you can't point out the wrongdoings, or you're the bad person, you're the aggressor, you're the bad guy. So you can't say that I did something bad. We can't say that Epstein is a fucking pedophile, because it would be anti-Semitism because of Epstein's Jewish background. Yeah. To which I say, fuck you. I don't care what your ethnic background is. I don't care what your religious background is. Justice is blind to those variables. You're a human being. You committed a crime. You deserve to have that crime deserves to be exposed, and the perpetrator brought to justice. I don't care what nationality you are, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I don't give a fuck. Okay? And the world over is getting to that point to where they're going, okay, the anti-Semitism card doesn't work anymore. World War II and the Holocaust sympathy doesn't work anymore. Okay, regardless of whether you're a Holocaust denier or not. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then. I don't know what happened. I only have I can only base my assertions on the information that is available. And at this point, it is subjective. It can go either way. Frankly speaking, I wouldn't deny that the Holocaust happened because it's a great pretext to accomplish what was accomplished by the Zionist community. They got the anti-Semitism card. They got Israel, and all they had to do was sacrifice a few million of their own people by way of a freaking cocaine addict. Okay? If that ain't a fucking brilliant plan, I don't know what is. And they got away with it for the better part of a century.
Yeah.
Hence why it's called a Holocaust, because it was a sacrifice.
That's
Holocaust is the Greek word for sacrifice or burnt offering. Interesting how they chose that word. Now, now we can sit there and go down that rabbit hole all day. I will not sit there and say that the Holocaust did or did not happen. I don't fucking know. I personally believe that it did, and that there is good evidence to support that. I mean, we can go another deep dive on that another time. That's a good topic. Actually, let's maybe do that in a few weeks down the line. But the next week, we're actually thinking about doing a roundtable tomorrow. In case you're wondering who I was talking to, I've been in touch with Louise Megan from Operation Megan. For those of you who were with us back in the day, Louise is a supermodel out of Scotland who came to the Worldwide Resistance Network asking for our help and subsequently the help of Anonymous to shed some light on some issues regarding a legal case in which she was dealing with, and some subsequent issues that kind of just snowballed out of her hands. And she came to us asking for help to create awareness. We were going to interview her today, but she was having some technical difficulties on her end. But things do seem to be relatively sorted out. And we're going to see about trying again tomorrow. If you guys are up for it, Reverend, you good?
I'm good.
Connor, you good? About same time? Same bat time? Same bat channel?
No, tomorrow I do not have a free slot, but that's okay. That's like I've said it before. I am not a requirement. The way we got to get used to you guys just running this shit by yourselves.
It is what it is, man. You know, you got the family thing, you got to handle business. But yeah, we'll move forward with that tomorrow. Me, Revan, and special guest Louise Megan. After that, I'm trying to schedule a couple other interviews for the following weeks. A few things I've been trying to get going for a little while there. I won't dive into detail right now, but as soon as I have more information and some update on those parties, we'll move forward with that. But in the meantime, Connor, I know you got to go. Revan, you got a thought?
Yeah. Make sure you neuter and spade. Make sure you spade and neuter your local neocon, rhino, progressive, liberal, and for free it will help neuter and spay a Marxist, fascist, communist, and an asshole.
Got the Bob Barker of the activist community.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Revan, for that. On behalf of Revan,
it would be funnier than seeing two lesbians sizzling with the runs.
Oh, come on, man. Did you have to go out on that note?
Yeah.
You sick, demented bastard. on that note, I'm shutting Revan up. Connor, thank you. Revan, as always, you're a hoot and a holler. And thank you for everybody who tuned in and participated. Made for a great roundtable. Let's keep the discussion going in the comments. And until next time, this is the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. Connor, Revan, if you are watching this, you are the resistance.